violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video. All right, guys. So, it is very sad in the community. Very sad day in the community. We are discussing the brother Gianno Caldwell's younger brother, who was killed in a shooting in Chicago. This just adds on to the endless amount of these senseless super gremlins on demon time, taking up arms and taking the lives of, you know, people who are staples in the community. All right, a lot of people in the community would have a problem with this brother because he works for Fox News. And he, you know, has some bold takes about the community just like I do. And he's not wrong. Okay, that's the thing. And he's not wrong, and it's proven to you every day, and it's proven to him and his family, you know, more than ever, especially since his family is out there in Chicago. So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna break down this article, and then I'm also going to kind of show you who this guy is. You know, I'm gonna show you guys the way that he thinks and his very emotionally thought-provoking testimony about growing up in the community, having family in the community, and, you know, just being around our people in general. So anyways, Fox News, Gianno Caldwell's younger brother killed in Chicago shooting. After all the things my family has been through, never could I have imagined my baby brother's life would be stolen from him. Okay. So let's get into this article. Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell's younger brother was killed in a shooting over the weekend in Chicago. He said in a social media post, "Devastating news. Yesterday was legitimately the worst day of my existence. I received a call informing me that my teenage baby brother, Christian, was murdered on the south side of Chicago yesterday morning. And if the police pulled up, they would not be able to chase him." Just remember that, okay? "After all the things my family has been through, never could I have imagined my baby brother's life would be stolen from him. Please keep my family in your prayers," Caldwell wrote Saturday, including a picture of himself and his brother wearing a graduation cap and gown. So there goes his baby bro. There goes them at a, you know, having a dinner, having a nice bite to eat. Oh man, you know, nobody can be great in the community. The worst of us taking out the best of us. This is another example. The Chicago Police Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Sunday. At least 3 people were killed in weekend shootings throughout the city, according to NBC Chicago. A dozen people were injured. The youngest victim was a 5-month-old girl who was shot and killed when an unknown vehicle approached and opened fire as the baby was inside a car. Yeah, so I did that story as well. That one will be premiering soon. That 5-month-old girl was named Cecilia Thomas, and she was actually killed by a female super gremlin, allegedly. And like I made the point in the last video, if we have our sisters out here doing hits, doing drive-bys, and hitting innocent little girls, then just imagine what the brothers is doing. So the baby was shot in the head and died at the hospital, the news station reported. Caldwell, a Chicago native who joined Fox News in 2017, has often spoken about violence in the Windy City during a 2018 news segment on Fox News. Caldwell got emotional as he talked about another brother who was shot and survived. So obviously the community has severely traumatized his brother, and you know, you can't blame him for taking up whatever he's got and getting the hell out of there. There's so many people in the city of Chicago who experience this level of pain. So many families, there seems to be daily black bodies littered in the streets, he said, calling on the mayor and then President Donald Trump to get involved and solve this crisis.
Actress Ann Hathaway wading into politics and social justice over the weekend, taking aim at white privilege with an Instagram post that reads, "White people, including me, including you, must take into the marrow of our privileged bones the truth that all black people fear for their lives daily in America and have done so for generations."
Yeah, and I mean, she's right. We do fear for our lives. You know, I have anxiety. I know many other people have anxiety in the community, but it's not from white people. Oh, no. Okay. It's not from white people. And unfortunately, when you go into a vicinity, when you go into an establishment and you see that it's all white people, you kind of relax a little bit. You know, you're like, okay, you know, no threat here, no issues. I ain't looking over my shoulder. But in the community, once you start seeing 2, 3, 4 poo shiesty masks, like you're feeling a little antsy. If you you know, a brother who stays strapped like me, your trigger finger is itching, and it sucks that you have to be like that. But this comes from continuously being traumatized by incidents where you're at a party, it gets shot up. You're at a function. I was at the club one time. They shot up the club. Okay, and then in the music, they're basically telling you to shoot up the club, condoning it, telling you not to tell on nobody if you see somebody busting from their section, right? So it's very traumatizing because a lot of these activities, the demon time activities, are enabled.
Here to discuss that, Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell joins us today from Miami. Gianno, good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
So what do you think Ann Hathaway was trying to say there?
Well, I thought it was unsubstantiated to say all black people fearing their lives. I go back to the scripture, which is my favorite. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. But at the same time, I do recognize that there are some who are concerned about racism. And actually, there's a lot of people that are concerned with racism. There are some.
I ain't gonna lie, Anne Hathaway looked great in that dress, though.
That have fear about what can happen. I think about
not in that one with the short hair.
In Chicago, which is where I'm from and which we'll talk about today, there are people that walk down the street in constant fear of losing their lives. So that is my element that I get from this post.
And it's not just Chicago, it's Memphis. And it's not just Memphis, it's New Orleans. And it's not just New Orleans, it's New York City. And it's not just New York City, it's San Francisco. It's not just San Francisco, it's LA. And it's not just LA, it's Atlanta, Georgia. It's not just Atlanta, Georgia, it's Dallas, Texas. I mean, we could go on and on. Austin, Texas, Miami. We can go on and name every major city where you're looking over your shoulders, especially as a brother, because you don't want to get caught up in no mistaken identity stuff. I remember I went to LA, and for some reason you're always gonna get banged on in LA. Hey, ain't you so and so cousin? Da 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 da. Where you from? Like, bro. That's why there's this term. Oh, you gotta check in, right? And we see what happened to Pop Smoke. He didn't quote unquote check in. He went to LA, and they took his life. Had a little kid take his life, man. They had a child take his life. A dude who was supposed to be in second period. These super gremlins are on demon time.
What I can accept.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your op-ed that you wrote for foxnews.com. You know, I know a number of months ago you called for the president to provide help. You know, the president himself at one point said he talked about sending in the feds. But now you look at the number of people.
And remember, this is back in 2018. They said sending in the National Guard was racist. But then what did I do? I did a story just last week on New Orleans asking for the National Guard to come in. Oh, but it's racist because Trump suggested it. Oh, okay.
Who have been shot and killed, 1,607 people shot in Chicago so far this year. That is a jaw-dropping number, and this is very personal to you. Tell us about your brother.
So last year during Memorial Day, my younger brother.
Memorial Day, that's a hot day in the community. Memorial Day, 4th of July, Juneteenth now, pretty much any holiday. Okay, we did the story on the Juneteenth mass shooting in DC at Mochella, the unsanctioned go-go festival, where the 15-year-old boy was killed. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like you can't go nowhere and gather in mass. I mean, it's a horrible thing. Horrible thing. We got to fix it. We got to work on our community. And we got to stop giving excuses to these super gremlins on demon time.
My brother was in the car with a couple of his friends on the south side of Chicago when two men walked up to the car and shot the car 25 times. You know, when I think about the fact that we can be on television right now discussing my little brother in past tense, it just brings tears to my eyes. Therefore,
and this is before the brother that had just graduated got killed. Like, I mean, I know this brother is going through a lot right now. Everybody send your thoughts and prayers. I mean, there are no words. It's a disgusting thing in the community, bro. And then it's nonstop. We see what they're doing in Chicago. The police can't chase the criminals. They can no longer do their jobs. We covered that story. So it's done. This issue is not going to be solved anytime soon.
Considering the fact that I'm blessed to work for the #1 network in cable news, I could do nothing but put out this op-ed and talk about what's going on in Chicago, the pain that many people feel, the fact that Kanye West wrote a song about this in 2011. He said it's a genocide when he was talking about the black-on-black murders. I say, how could it not be?
Yeah, black-on-black murders, abortion. I mean, we're being hit on every single angle, and nobody wants to tie in the two. Okay, nobody wants to, you know, nobody wants to let it be known. Okay, nobody wants to shine a light, and it's absurd, man. It really is.
Yale did a study in, I believe, 2015 where they noted that in Chicago, for every 100,000 residents, there's one white person shot on average, 28 Hispanic people shot on average, and about 113 black people shot on average. When considering that fact, and we got almost 3 million people in Chicago, we know that the mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, has been completely and totally ineffective.
Yep, so they subbed in Lori Lightfoot. And we see how ineffective she's been as well. She is horrible at her job. And people on social media, Black Twitter, you know, Black Instagram, they're praising her for an abysmal job that she's doing. Same with the mayor in New Orleans. You know, we have to hold these people accountable, or we're just not going to be taken seriously as a whole, bro. And that's the real thing that I'm afraid of.
Bring it about, excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
This is so personal to you.
Substantial change to the city of Chicago.
Gianno.
So yeah, it is very personal to me.
It is. I mean, you were talking about the day they shot up the car your brother was in. Your brother survived, but his best friend died
and he
in
no
his
longer
arms.
lives in Chicago. Yes, his best friend died in his arms.
Man. So his brother traumatized. He's traumatized by his brother getting shot, and by his best friend dying in his arms. I mean, this is daily in Chicago. Who's the recent FBG guy that they got? FBG Cash. They got him too. Damn near the same way, except he was with a woman. Shot the car up, killed him, shot the woman.
Bloody. But there's so many people in the city of Chicago who experience this level of pain. So many families. There seems to be daily black bodies littered in the street. I've said before, Rahm Emanuel could care less. Black lives don't matter to Rahm Emanuel. Black votes matter to
Nor do they matter to Lori Lightfoot.
Rahm Emanuel. Hispanic votes matter to Rahm Emanuel. And now we have a city that's completely and totally in chaos, and I'm asking the president of these United States to get involved. Absolutely. I would love for him to order the U.S. Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, and the FBI director to come up with a comprehensive plan to solve this crisis.
I'm telling you right now, the comprehensive plan is going to be a crime bill. It's coming through the pipeline. We might experience 5-10 more years for it to really bubble up. You know, just look at Philly. How much more can they take? Right? They have such a small population, but a very high murder rate. How much more can they take? All these cities are being pressed, okay? And the pressure cooker is on, and it's about to burst. I don't know how long it's going to take, but, you know, he's been talking about, this has been an issue for a while. And it seemed like there was a hold that was on it. I mean, you know, we always been out here, you know, drive-by, busting shots and all that kind of stuff. But it really has gotten a lot worse now. You know? It really has, okay? When we were coming up in like early 2000s, 1990s, it was very bad. Then in the, you know, later half of the first, or the later part of the first decade of the 21st century, they were getting a hold on it. And then now, you know, after 2020, after that whole debacle, right, with the riots and all that kind of stuff, defund the police, it's just skyrocketed, man. And it's back to, you know, is back to the norm, I guess.
It's because right now there's many people who feel that they live in a war-torn city. And the fact of the matter is, walking down the street, you can lose your life. We've seen people from an infant to a senior citizen watering their grass be shot in the city of Chicago. So with that being the case, we can no longer wait for the leaders there to get it together. We need the president to step in, fund programs that will absolutely help you.
Sorry, bro, but programs are not going to fix it. Programs are not going to fix it. The problem is these repeat offenders getting let out, low bail, no cash bail, supervised release. That's the issue. It's not going to be programs, bro. We got all the programs in the world. There are plenty of programs. Respectfully,
who believe that they have nothing to live for at this point. We need sincere help, and we need it today.
Something's got to give. You're absolutely right, Gianno. For folks who would like to read your op-ed, go to foxandfriends.com, and we will link to the foxnews.com website. Gianno Caldwell joined us today from Miami. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Take it out to you first, Chicago being, you know, your hometown. What do you think?
I'm absolutely disgusted by the violence that continues in my hometown. The police superintendent said that there was over 76 officers either shot or shot at in 2021 alone. There were over 800 homicides in 2021. I think back to just several years ago, my younger brother during Memorial Day weekend was in a car with two of his friends when two men walked up and shot that car 25 times. Thank God my little brother lived, but his best friend died in his arms.
And now he loses a brother, man. When is it gonna stop, y'all? When is it gonna stop?
These policies, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. these policies that have been perpetrated by the Cook County prosecutor, Kim Fox, where she's allowing people with felony cases of murder and rape, she's dropped 25,000 of those particular cases.
Yep. That's a fact. She dropping cases like these sisters is pop, lock, and dropping in these mass crowds when they pulling up to the bean, you know what I mean? Like, she dropping cases, y'all. And then she almost got caught up in a case herself, a domestic violence case, where she put hands and feet on her man because he got caught up with a Facebook baddie. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But Kim Fox is definitely running Chicago into the ground. Probably going to go down in history as one of the worst DAs ever. And I don't see anything getting better with her in office at all. There's no way that she can, change strides and reverse pivot. She believes in what she believes in, and that is a lack of law and order. Okay? Straight up. Unaccountability, lack of law and order. Give these dudes chance after chance after chance. And then even when they do something, unspeakable, a lot of times either these dudes are getting off or they're being able to bond out and then eliminate the witnesses. There's a lot of funky stuff going on in Chicago, okay?
If you're going to have these soft on crime measures, you're never going to get the crime problem under control, whether it be in Chicago, whether it be in Philadelphia, Detroit, wherever it may be. These policies must change, and they got to get tough, and they got to get tough immediately. Otherwise, we're going to see more and more people dying in the streets daily.
I'm so sorry to hear about that, Gianno. I had no idea.
Thank you so much.
Shocking
I appreciate
and
that.
horrific. Raymond, so over in Philly, the district attorney is calling for gun control. Take a listen to what Steve Scalise said this morning on Fox News Sunday. I want to get your reaction.
You can look in California. They had a bill to raise the age in the state of California, and a federal court ruled it unconstitutional. So instead of trying to go down unconstitutional routes, why don't we look at why more young people are doing this? We need to be helping get kids more engaged in alerting authorities if they see something they're concerned about, and let the authorities take action if it's necessary and try to intervene and stop something before it happens, instead of just immediately rushing to go take the rights of gun owners away.
What do you think?
Well, Steve Scalise is my congressman, and as you recall, he was victimized in that congressional baseball yard shooting, where this lunatic.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, remember they opened fire on Steve Scalise, and so he really speaks from authority here. But what he's saying we should bear in mind.
Look, y'all seen him. I mean, large crowds, mass gathering. This was in Philly. We covered this story as well. I believe a woman was shot and killed in this one.
As anybody who's gone to gun shows, as I have, you will find that they say they want to create more background checks. When you get in line and go to purchase a gun, many times you will see grandmothers or girlfriends buying the guns for other people. So I don't know how those background checks are quite going to clear up the problem of, guns spreading through the community here or anywhere.
Bruh, I mean, most of the dudes who have these straps are using, they're not even supposed to be having the guns in the first place. So, yeah, the background check, it ain't gonna do a damn thing. It's really not. It's really not. And most of these dudes who are doing these types of crimes, they're repeat offenders. So you already had them in custody and you let them out and then they go do it again.
Where else? But it seems to me when you look at all these cases, whether in Chicago or Chattanooga or Philadelphia or here in New Orleans, there is a cheapness to life today, and our young people somehow believe that life can just be thrown off over a disagreement and that cops have no value at all and they can open fire on police or take them on. Yep. We as a community have to stand up and teach our young people this is unacceptable, we're not going to tolerate it, and the prosecutors have to jump in and prosecute these crimes, and we as a community have to stand behind them or this will never go away.
Yeah, crimes like this have many victims, not just the people who are directly physically hurt. Dr. Zephyr, that brings me to you. While Raymond was talking, I was thinking, who has to clean up the mess is your colleagues in your profession who have to take care of these people who are shipped into emergency rooms in all these cities every night with gunshot wounds, with stab wounds. What is the thinking among your colleagues about how to confront this epidemic?
Well, Jillian, I spent over a decade of training at a level 1 adult and pediatric trauma center, and I can tell you that violence is not new to our country, but we are certainly having a crime wave right now. But it's more than that. We're having a violent surge, and we have to look at why. We have historic homicides rates in 2020. Bloodshed continued throughout 2021, and now we're seeing in 2022. What happened? Well, COVID happened. The basic fabrics of our life.
Bruh, they gonna blame it on COVID. Come on. Come on, you can't blame everything on the pandemic. You can't. Okay, it's definitely a factor, but mainly it was the riots, it was the protests, it was the defund the police, the degradation of the police, the tearing down, and that is what has emboldened people. They think if they do go out with the police and get in a scuffle, whatever, if they lose, they're gonna be monumentalized, and a statue's gonna go up in their honor when they were in the wrong the whole time.
Life was completely upended. You had rise in unemployment. You had children being taken out of school. No extracurricular activities. All of a sudden, there is nothing for these young people to do, and we haven't actually made it a priority to get them back in structure. Children, young adults, people require structure, and they also require economic stability. When you have negative emotions, anxiety, depression, and fearful that maybe you're not able to pay for your family, with that will come crime. With that will come violence. The priority needs to be, what can we do to make sure that Americans feel stable and secure, and they are not going to then be predisposed to go out and have violence. What also happened in parallel was the complete devaluation, like Raymond said, for respect for cops through all of the movements that happened throughout COVID. And unfortunately, it has left us in a very difficult position, and hospitals are struggling with it. You just saw we had shootings at a medical center, and it's very frustrating when you hear we need to talk gun control, gun control, gun control. Yes, okay, we can have those conversations, but checking little boxes like Raymond is saying by just doing stronger background check, that's not going to fix it. It is a foundational problem that the president, the White House, the federal government needs to do something about to make sure Americans can afford the basics of life.
There seems to be some consensus on Capitol Hill.
And honestly, I don't even want the government to come up with a solution, because they're never going to do it right. That's the reality. This solution has to come internally. It has to come from the community. If we stop the bloodshed in the community, we'll be able to figure out how to stop it everywhere else. But in the meantime, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Now between Republicans and Democrats gathering that mental health is a major epidemic that needs to be looked at, especially among kids, those people who are under 18. A lot of that coming on the heels of COVID. Guys, we could talk about this the rest of the hour, but we're going to have to leave it there and move on to something else.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.